Zimbabwe prison authorities have finally given in to pressure by CCC leader Nelson Chamisa to be allowed to visit jailed Lieutenants Job Sikhala and Godfrey Sitole at Chikurubi Maximum Prison, but set tough conditions for the opposition chief to abide by a while in the presence of the country's biggest jail. This comes after Chamisa, through his lawyers, had confronted Zimbabwe Prisons and Correctional Services, the ZPCS boss Moses Chiwovu, with a 24-hour ultimatum to allow him access to his comrades, as was guaranteed by the country's laws, or face a suit. Chamisa was forced to turn to his lawyer's Shava law chambers after prison authorities recently blocked him from visiting the party legislators. But in a new development, ZPC's Chief Director, Legal Resources and Corporate Affairs Commissioner Willie Risilo wrote back saying the opposition leader can finally visit, but under stricter conditions. Please be advised that authority has been granted for your client, Mr. Nelson Chamisa, to visit members of his political party incarcerated in our prisons, wrote Risilo in a letter dated 18 October. The approval of your client, Mr. Nelson Chamisa, was given with some restrictions. He is required to notify the officer in charge of his intended visit in advance and the specific times. He shall not chant slogans anywhere near the prisons and is forbidden from addressing any persons anywhere near the prisons. You may liaise with the respective officers in charge, who may place further restrictions in the interest of good order and security. Commissioner Rizilo cited Section 129 of the Prisons General Regulations 1996 Statutory Instrument 1 of 1996, which he said mandated prison authorities to eavesdrop into a prisoner's conversation with a visitor. Further, Section 129 of the same regulations provided that all visits shall take place within sight and hearing of a prison officer and at such times and places as the officer in charge may determine. Further, a prisoner shall not be visited by more than 3 visitors at one visit, and visit shall not last longer than 30 minutes, he said. In denying him permission to visit his lieutenants, prison guards had told the popular politician he was specifically barred from visiting anyone in prison detention without written permission. But lawyers challenged the ban, arguing that this violated Zimbabwean laws, which say that any person who is detained, including a convicted prisoner, has a right to communicate with and be visited by a relative or anyone else of their choice, subject to reasonable restrictions, which may be imposed for the proper administration of prisons or places of detention.